Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl, the Brooke Ashley, and today we are here to discuss The Real Housewives of Orange County, Season 16, Episode 16. And when I tell you, I am ecstatic at the fact that the season finale is next week because I can't take any more of the chaos that is this cast. So much happened. So much confusion. The end had me scratching my head like, girl, what are you talking about? But get comfortable because you guys know that I am here to drag and read Emily and Gina. And Noella, I have a few choice words for you as well. But before we get into that, I have to give a very big thank you to my friends over at Rose Forever, New York. Thank you guys so much for my gorgeous bouquet. Look at that. These are the fabulous flowers that last for an entire year. Absolutely stunning. They make for a fabulous gift. They smell amazing. And with Mother's Day around the corner, I mean, you can't beat it. It's a perfect gift. Who doesn't love flowers, and especially flowers that last a year? And I love that they come in this gorgeous velvet box. You guys know I'm just a sucker for great packaging. And guys, if you are interested in buying yourself or someone special in your life a fresh bouquet of roses, definitely check out Rose Forever. The link is in the description box, and you get $20 off when you use the special code, which is my name, Brooke Ashley. And who doesn't love a discount? And keep your eyes peeled for 60% off on their site starting in a few days, and it's going to be 60% off any style of roses, any bouquet of roses. And again, just in time for Mother's Day, a great graduation gift, and there are more colors to choose from. I just chose pink because pink is my favorite color. But again, I want to say a big thank you to Sylvia over at Rose Forever New York, and I'm in love. So without further ado, let's jump right into this recap because we don't have a minute to spare. So the episode starts off right where we left it at last week. Noella and Heather have gone to the side to have a private conversation and to hash out their issues. Noella starts off the conversation by saying, look, hearing that I hurt your family makes me feel sad and I apologize. Then she wants to know if Heather is going to receive her apology. So Heather says, it's not really about how I feel, it's about what you said. Heather continues by saying, I feel sorry for what you're going through, I feel for you, but at some point, my family is more important than what you're going through. I was a bit confused at Heather's response because all along at dinner, she wanted Noella to take back what she said and to apologize, right? I understand you're still pissed. I understand it takes a while and you need to, sit through your anger. I get that. But she's giving you the apology. Do you accept it or not? All this other stuff is unnecessary. And y'all know how I feel about Noella. I can't stand Noella. I think that she's self-centered. I think that she's just very aggravating. But in this case, I'm like, girl, you're finally getting the apology that you wanted. So what's with all these extra dramatics? I'm honestly just over this entire Noella and Heather feud. Like, I'm losing interest. I don't care anymore. They're both getting on my nerves. So while Heather and Noella are going back and forth, Gina and Emily are standing at the bottom of the staircase trying to eavesdrop. I was just like, can y'all both get a life? Why are you so concerned about what Noella and Heather are talking about? You guys are in a gorgeous home. Go and do something else. There's a hot tub, a bowling alley, a private chef. Go and eat something. Like, why do y'all need to know what Heather and Noella are talking about? So now those two clowns decide to join Shannon in the kitchen, and they're all noshing on chicken salad. Now, chicken salad is a personal favorite of mine.
I love it. I love it.
Do you know who has the best chicken salad in my opinion? Potbelly. Every time I go there, I always get chicken salad with the jalapenos on it too, and lettuce and tomato. and the Italian oil, to die for. But let me not get off on a tangent. And once again, Shannon is so hilarious because she was talking about the chicken salad and she's feeding the chicken salad to Gina and Emily. And I said, Shannon is nicer than me because there is no way that Gina or Emily would have sat down next to me and broke bread with me. Y'all have the nerve to fix your lips and say that I'm jealous of somebody, but now you want to sit down and joke around and share some chicken salad? No. So while the three of them are enjoying chicken salad, we flip back over to Noella and Heather arguing. Heather is really angry and she says, you know what, I'm leaving, I'm done here. And she calls Noella a liar and a thirsty girl. And Heather, let this be the last time you address Noella about these allegations regarding you slamming a cameraman against the wall. I'm tired of hearing about it. Now it's the next morning and all the ladies are getting ready for archery. So we see Gina FaceTiming her boyfriend Travis. She's talking about how beautiful the house is, how they have concierge service, there's a bowling alley in the house, there are all these hot tubs and pools, and it's just gorgeous. I was thinking, Gina dear, you have been on this show now for 4 years. You should be used to this by now. Let's act like we're used to something, okay? To the producers of The Real Housewives of Orange County, please know that I will never forgive you for casting Gina. While everybody else is getting ready for the day, Noella is in bed with a Bloody Mary in her hand, and she's FaceTiming her friend Kenny. So she's telling her friend about what happened on the first night in Aspen, how dinner was a big disaster, and how she is just so shaken that she will not be participating in the archery activity today. So here's where Noella starts lying and twisting the story up. She's sobbing at this point, and she says, Heather brought up my divorce and my son's autism and said that that's my karma. So I'm like, Noella, here's where I need to get you together yet again because you tried it. That is not what was said and you know it. I can't stand somebody who puts extra sauce on a story, especially when they were partially at fault for what happened. Noella knows good and damn well that Heather said nothing about her son. And that's very disgusting and vile for her to even say that. I was like, girl, you are a liar. Stick to what happened. Stick to what was actually said. That wasn't said. And how dare you feel a type of way that Heather said that when you started with her? Had you not said anything about, well, you know, you're going to get your karma, Heather wouldn't have clapped back and said that to you. And if we're being honest, Heather was a bit tame in her response. Because had you said that to me about karma, I would have clapped back with, are you sure you want to go there, sis? Not when you have all these money problems. Not when your soon-to-be ex-husband is leaving you penniless. Not when you don't have a credit card to rely on or checking your savings account. Surely you can't be talking to me about karma. I would have also brought up how your ex-husband has all these liens against him in the amount of $6 million. So now we see all the ladies head over for archery, and Noella is at home taking the day to herself. So while they're on the bus, Heather and Dr. Jen are talking, and Emily points out that Dr. Jen just repeats everything that Heather says, almost like a parrot. So when they started playing the footage, I was like, oh my gosh, Dr. Jen really does just repeat what Heather says. Like, that's really crazy. And side note, Dr. Jen does not need to come back. She is very boring. She honestly should have been a friend of the show. She brought nothing this entire season. None of us cared about her crazy marriage to Ryan. I know I didn't. We've seen that storyline play out one too many times where it's a broken marriage, the husband has checked out, and the wife is pleading for the husband to get it together. Been there, done that, we're over it. And Dr. Jen has the personality of a doorknob. So now Gina and Emily bring up Noella and how she's not joining them for archery. I was really confused by Gina and Emily discussing why Noella was sitting out for this activity, because I thought that you guys don't really like her. So why do you care if she's there or not? I swear, it seems like Emily and Gina can't really pick a side. Do you like Noella or do you not like her? Now, mind you, we see a parallel scene with Noella getting out of bed, and she says that with her divorce, the destruction of the embryos that she had through IVF, and her father's death is just a lot right now. She feels like she needs a break. She's just tired of all that's going on. And she says that while she's here in Aspen, she can feel her dad's spirit around her. So we see her go outside and she goes by the water and she starts screaming. I hope that that was therapeutic to her. She's clearly in a lot of pain, and it's good that she did decide to skip out on archery and just take some time out for herself. So now we see all the ladies arrive to archery, and I have to say, Shannon and Emily killed it. Like, they hit the target each and every single time. And when I tell you that Shannon's outfit in this scene had me screaming, I said, Shannon will always find an outfit to fit the theme of whatever party, event, activity that she's going to, and I love it. We don't talk enough about how Shannon is really funny. Like, Shannon is high-key one of the funniest housewives across the board, because she's funny without even trying, and the fact that she's so neurotic. Why do I feel like I'm low-key becoming a Shannon Beador stan account? Like, when did this happen? But Shannon is really winning me over. So now the archery lesson is over, and we see the group split up. Gina and Emily are going to go back to the house to get Noella, and then Heather, Dr. Jen, and Shannon are going to go off and do their own thing. So they're like, okay, we'll meet you guys later at the house for dinner. So while Gina and Emily are on the bus to get Noella, they both make a pact that they are not going to sit around and have a therapy session with Noella. They're like, I don't want to hear it. I empathize with her. I feel bad for her, but I just don't have the capacity to hear another sob story. So now Gina and Emily arrive back to the house. They go and get Noella, and now they're back on the bus to go to the mines. So while they're on the bus, Noella is upset that Gina and Emily haven't asked her how she's doing. She says that she's upset that they don't care, and the fact that they know that she's going through a lot. So let me just stop right here, okay? Because I've touched on this in previous recaps. Noella is the definition of an energy vampire. And you have to realize that people can only listen to your problems for so long. Don't get me wrong. What Noella is going through is very sad. However, people don't have the emotional capacity to deal with your problems every time they see you. I'm speaking firsthand. My father passed away 11 months ago. Some days it feels like I can hardly get out of the bed, okay? I'll give you an example. A few weeks ago, I was having a very miserable day. Like, I was crying the entire day. I was invited to go out, and I declined the invitation because I knew that I was going to bring the entire mood down had I come. You have to have maturity to know, you know what? I'm not going to do that to my friends. They didn't come out to hear my issues and my problems. Do I know that my friends and loved ones care about me? Yes. Do they want to hear about my problems and issues in grieving? They can only do but so much. They are not therapists. They are not counselors. So to put my heavy emotions and my sadness and my problems on them, that's a lot. You have to make peace with the fact that you cannot turn every group outing into a therapy session. It can't always be about you. And those days where I know that I'm going to be miserable, I am not leaving the house. I'm just not. Yes, I have friends who check up on me. They ask me how I'm doing. They'll get upset if I just say, I'm fine. They'll be like, no, like, let me know the truth. Like, how are you really feeling? Like, you can tell me. And I'll vent for like 10 to 15 minutes and then we move on and talk about something else. But I cannot dominate the conversation every single time with my issues. It's not fair to anybody else. It's just not. And like I've said, my misery does not like company. I'm not going to put my bad mood on other people. When I'm miserable by myself. Like, I just don't like how Noella has this attitude because she's in a bad mood because her world has stopped, then everybody else's world has to stop too. That's not how this works. Yes, I understand that you're hurting. It sucks. It's unfair. Life can be unfair. Life can just be awful at times. However, you cannot burden your friends with your issues 24/7. Everybody is going through something. And for her to be pouting and whining about, nobody asked me how I'm doing. They know what I'm going through. Yes, they do know what you're going through. But they don't want to hear about it every single time they see you. And while that might be harsh, and I'm prepared for somebody to say, oh, Brooke, I can't believe you're saying that, it's the truth. And I'm not going to mince words about it. I don't like Noella's attitude that it's always all about her every single time. And people like Noella are usually the type to be MIA when you have problems. They only want you to listen to what they're going through, but they're never a listening ear for other people. I really hope that Noella's self-centeredness is addressed at this reunion because I am just so sick of it. And if she does come back for next season, I hope that she changes because it's obnoxious. So Gina, Emily, and Noella finally arrive to the mines and they're getting a tour and having a good time. So while they're in the mines, we see Heather, Shannon, and Dr. Jen in the woods and they're sitting down by the creek and they're just talking. Shannon brings up her gripes with Emily and how she's tired of Emily always stirring the pot and just reporting back to Gina. She says that she doesn't understand why Emily does this and how Emily's always getting the story wrong. Now you notice how Heather was sitting there quiet. I said, oh, okay, so when somebody lies on you, you want Shannon to come to your defense, but when Shannon has an issue, now, it's crickets. You have nothing to say. And I was really annoyed when Heather said, well, Emily might stir the pot, but she is a truth teller. I said, oh, really, Heather, is that so? Emily is nothing but a jealous loser who's upset at your friendship with her BFF, Gina, and instead of dealing with her emotions, she wants to project them onto Shannon, but okay with Emily being the truth teller. So Shannon wraps up the conversation by saying that when they get back to the house, she's going to have a talk with Emily to settle this because she's upset at how they got close in Mexico, but now they're on the outs again. Now, Shannon, if I were you, I'd be paying Emily dust. So now Shannon escapes from Noella and she pulls Emily to the side and she's like, can we have a one-on-one conversation, please? Because we have to talk. So they go outside and you already know that Gina's shook because God forbid Emily's out of her sight for more than 2 seconds. So Shannon says, look, Emily, I just want to talk to you because I'm in a good place in my life and I don't want any negativity at all. So now Emily interjects and she's like, well, that's really confusing to me that you say that. Because why do you say so many negative things about Gina? I was like, Emily, are you serious right now? Your friend is the one who said the stuff about Shannon's jealous of her. Shannon never said anything negative about Gina. She only responded to what Gina was saying about her, and she has every right to do so. Emily is such a loser and a liar, I really can't stand her. And she's so desperate to be on this damn show. So Shannon says, Emily, at the end of the day, that's really not your concern because that's between me and Gina, not me and you. So now Emily says, well, Gina is my business because that's my best friend. So now Shannon's getting emotional and she says, look, Emily, I don't want a problem with you. We bonded in Mexico. I love you. I really like you. So I don't understand why there's any bad blood between us. So now Emily gives Shannon a very weak and half-assed apology and goes on to say that none of them are perfect and sometimes words get misconstrued. I'm like, Emily, at the end of the day, let's call it what it is. You're a liar and you like to start stuff up because you're insecure and you're jealous of Gina and Heather being friends. And because of that, you're trying to project your feelings onto Shannon. And like I said a few recaps ago, I think that there's some jealousy at the fact that Shannon is now the longest standing cast member on OC. Now she's the OG. And there's some jealousy there, and I wouldn't be surprised if Heather, Emily, and Gina are trying to ice Shannon out. So Shannon and Emily are cool again, and now Shannon says, okay, girl, now you know that tonight we have to dress up in the bear costumes that I bought to scare the other women. Emily is excited, and she's joking around about how Shannon loves a costume. So now all the ladies are getting ready for dinner, and we see Heather, Gina, and Emily hanging out, and they're talking about Emily and Shannon's one-on-one discussion. So, of course, Emily can't tell the story right this time around either. She's like, yeah, you know, we hashed out our issues, and I apologized to Shannon. So, of course, Gina's like, oh, you apologize? I said, Emily, don't leave out the fact that Shannon apologized to you too now. Like, Emily just can't help herself. So now Gina says that she just gets angry at the fact that Shannon can't own up to what she says and does. I said, oh, really, sis? Is that what we're saying? Because when Shannon confronted you about what you were saying behind her back, you sat up there and lied. Shannon gave you an olive branch. She came to your stupid skincare launch party. So why do you still have an issue with her? Shannon should have never helped your sorry behind because the way you're doing her now is so disgusting. This woman made sure that you did not get arrested in front of your own children, and for you to do her like this is just so shameful. So all the ladies are dressed and ready for dinner, but before they have dinner, they go outside with some drinks, and they are getting a special performance by this band called the Elk Range Bluegrass. So while the band is performing, Shannon and Emily both have to use the bathroom. Now, I thought that they really had to use it. I had forgotten all about that prank they were going to pull on the other women. So now we see them go inside one of the rooms and they're changing into the bear costumes. So they come back outside, they're in their bear costumes. I was screaming because it was a bust. Nobody was afraid. It was a very cute moment though, but I was really screaming at the fact that Shannon still had her 6-inch heels on. I'm like, girl, what bear have you seen with heels? So now everybody goes inside the house for dinner, and that dinner looked absolutely delicious. They had seared scallops, and I love scallops so much. Like, my mouth is salivating already. They had fresh sweet potatoes, a rack of lamb. Just, again, my mouth is like really watering, so we gotta get off of the food. So while they're eating dinner, Emily comes up with a game, and she wants to know what was everybody's first job and how much they get paid. Gina says that her first job was at a boathouse, and she was making minimum wage. And then we see Noella say that her first job, she was like a model or an extra in a Will Smith video. She was 15. So now here's where things go left for absolutely no reason. Gina brings up her friend Tatiana's daughter, who's also a model. So now Noella says, oh, who's Tatiana? So Gina's like, you know Tatiana. She's my friend who let me throw my launch party at her house. Now, mind you, Gina is 3 sheets to the wind, okay? She's shit-faced, good and drunk. So Gina starts rambling about how it's disrespectful for Noella to not know who her friend Tatiana is, how she's protective of her friend, and it was like, girl, please go to bed, please. You're drunk, you're incoherent, this makes no sense. Noella is annoying as all hell, but that was not anything to get upset about. Gina gets up from the table and she's just going on and on and on. Everybody's shocked because nobody can believe what's happening. Emily is shocked too, and she says that Gina is overreacting and there's obviously a deeper issue. So now Heather and Emily go off to find Gina. They're trying to calm her down. She's going off. She's upset at how Shannon is taking Noella's side. Now again, if you don't like Shannon, Gina, why are you upset that she's not on your side? You've said in multiple episodes that you don't care about Shannon, you're over her, you're tired of her, so why would you expect Shannon to be on your side of things? Let's make it make sense. So while they're in the next room trying to calm Gina down, Shannon is at the table with Noella, and she's trying to comfort her. Noella's going off about how nobody's been supportive of her since her dad has died, and how she's grieving and going through a hard time. So now we see Gina walking to her room in a drunken stupor, and she's talking to herself about how she's just over Noella, she's over all the sob stories, and, you know, while she's sympathetic, shit happens. Then she goes on to say that Shannon only wants to be friends with Noella because in 3 years from now, she's gonna throw it all back in Noella's face about how much she's helped her. At the end of the day, you need to be grateful because Shannon did a lot for you. Because I still remember how Miss Bador took you shopping on Rodeo Drive a few seasons ago. Because had she not, you would have had no shopping bags.
Ladies, may we get a word?
Hide the money, y'all. There's poor people around. With your broke ass.
Then Gina adds that Shannon's only there for you when you're down, but not when you're up. And then we see the episode close out with Gina closing her door and saying that she doesn't have any more sympathy and how everything is a joke. One word for this episode, stupid. Because so much of it made no sense. Gina being upset about nothing. It screamed very much, I'm just trying to have a moment. I'm very happy that next week is the finale. I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to this reunion because I am dying to see what certain people have to say for themselves. But y'all, that was the episode. I hope you all enjoyed my recap. Thank you all for watching. And as always, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you all later. Bye.